Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the Kreeger cast. I'm your host, Patrick Kreeger, and I'm joined once again today by Daryl and Stephanie. We are going to be doing something a little bit different today. We are going to be doing something a little off topic where we're going to have no topic. We're going to do just a general talk. We're considering calling this Kreeger cast free range.
Or cage-free Kreeger.
Cage-free Kreeger cast. Yeah. Something like that will work.
Indeed.
Kreegercast, unplugged.
No. No, it has to be farm-themed.
Fair enough. I do like cage-free.
Cage-free Kreeger. Yep.
Just even the term cage-free for the thing.
Okay.
But we'll see. So, I have breaking news to report. Breaking news. Turns out, kids' temperature lattes are 138 or 139 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So if you don't want to order your latte kids' temperature, you can apparently order it as 140 degrees.
Is it common for people to do the number for temperature?
I don't know, but I have heard it a few times, and the one particular barista I heard said she would understand what that meant.
Okay. I hope there's a dial on the the machine, so they don't have to figure it out somehow.
Well, I don't think, like I said, it's 138, 139, so
okay,
they're not going to make it exactly 140, but they'll get you in the ballpark, and a standard latte is 160 degrees.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense then.
Yeah. So, how was your week?
Well, you're on vacation.
I am.
You're at a year-round school.
I am. I teach at a year-round school. It's the best system ever. Every 8 to 10 weeks, we get 3 weeks off. We get 4 weeks off for summer. It's fantastic.
She's currently sewing, just FYI.
Yes.
What are you making?
I am making my 2018 Halloween wardrobe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's stripy and orange and black at the moment. You can't. I'll show it to you next time.
Well, yes, but our listeners...
Yeah, you can't see it, so it doesn't matter.
There's a whole new wardrobe this week. We went antiquing in Orange.
Oh yes. Did you, by chance, go to any of the new pop-up stores that are in Orange?
We didn't.
Oh.
We had one specific mission, and then I...
Where did you go? Watched. It's like a mystery to me where you went. While I was sifting
went to the men's store next door, and then I went around the lodge. And,
the lodge in downtown Orange.
Yeah. But no, she went to elsewhere, and they had a box of Victorian and Edwardian clothes because it's a vintage store, so they're more.
Don't tell people because it's my box, and if anyone finds out, then they'll go get my box. And I'll
okay,
be so
no
sad.
One's gonna go get your box, but
don't worry, this podcast won't be up for another 2 days.
There's 3 boxes. No, it's okay. It's fine. There's 3 boxes, and I have all of my stuff in the box of things that I will slowly but surely buy up.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's a vintage store, so it's mostly 20th century, and mid 20th century.
Yeah, people like that stuff.
And they had some Edwardian stuff that she wanted to buy.
I was feeling very...
We had to pick.
Was it original stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all original.
Yeah. So, here's my thing. So, I love, obviously, anything before, 1965, history-wise. And my first love is, the 1340s, 1350s, right? I like the Middle Ages.
Yeah, you're in general. On silver.
And,
sorry.
Now who's derailing?
All of us, but continue.
Everyone. It's one of those nights. That's why it's free range. No, but my home base, where I feel like everything is just the present, and I'm the most comfortable with the technology and the politics and society and everything, is 1900 to 1910, right? Edwardian. And for all of those of you who are like, Queen Victoria died in 1901. Yeah, fine. Late Victorian, early Edwardian. So... There's
a lot of them out there.
There's a lot of those people, yeah. I get it. It's fine. I'm one of those people.
Oh.
There are. They're totally... Whatever. Keep talking. And so my favorite sort of fashion rotation of Edwardian is going to be the 02 to 04 with like the real baggy sleeves that go down and bag at the wrist. But I was feeling very like 05 to 07, which is puffy starting at the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a like 1905-ish jacket, which used to be part of a suit, but it's okay because I have a skirt that'll match, and a shirtwaist from the same era. And then I got a black silk 1890s bodice from like 95 or 96, and the biggest kind of thing that we found was this gorgeous, like, once we get the automobile, there's a big movement for driving coats, and they're mostly always either beige or black or some kind of, they call them Quaker colors at the time. But this one's like a super fancy one, and it has a lot of cutouts that are backed with net and then embroidered over with soutache and embroidery. And so that was a really cool find.
But what's the concept of a driving coat?
It's to keep your clothes clean while you're driving, which is kind of funny because it's a very intricate driving coat that you probably wouldn't want to get dirty in the first place. But
okay,
it's obviously belonged to a very wealthy person who could probably afford to have her clothes laundered by themselves. So,
So you found stuff in orange too?
I did?
Yes.
No.
No?
I didn't find anything there. That was yes, no. That was a couple days earlier.
Oh.
It was an antique fair, and I've been looking for my Ottoman inkwell for well over a year now.
It is your white whale.
With it's this brass case that has storage for quills, or pens, and then the small attached inkwell, which has a little shell lid. It's a very common shape in the Ottoman Empire, and I had found one in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Told you that, and lo and behold, in Southern California at an antique fair, the first booth I walk into has an Ottoman inkwell.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it was extremely underpriced, so I got it immediately. So now I have 2 Ottoman inkwells. I am ready. And the best part, my original inkwell, the ink lid did not close.
Yep.
So if it tipped over, all the ink is going out. And now, and the quill part is very difficult to open. And on this one, it's the exact opposite. So my quills are going to fall out, and the ink is going to stay.
Well, that's frankly the better way to have it.
Yeah, I would rather have that.
Yeah. There's no fusing them together.
No, it's not going to be a double inkwell.
Sad panda.
Sad panda. Have you found any antiques lately?
Recently, like as in the last few days, no. But this summer, yes. I came across an enameled canteen when I was antique hunting out in Washington, and I got it for like $5, which was just one hell of a deal.
Was it military?
Yeah, no, it's the prototype canteen for World War II.
Oh, okay.
Like the second rarest canteen the U.S. military ever produced.
Yeah. With
the only rare one being the clear Bakelite one. There's like a collapsible kind of clear one from World War II.
You have quite a collection of canteens.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a complete collection of American canteens, as well as I want one from each of the major powers during World War II. I personally think the coolest ones are the Polish ones. They're like this like kind of asterisk shaped canteen that looks totally impractical. I don't know why they did that, because it's like it looks more attuned to a bud vase than a canteen.
I love that you slipped in there that Poland is one of the major powers in World War II. Great.
I mean, hey. Then I got a pair of binoculars that are Japanese military issue, except they're not. They're the exact same thing that the Japanese military used during the war, but they continued to produce them after the war for American GIs.
Oh, cool.
And so it says made in occupied Japan, which is just kind of a cool thing. And then a ton of cast iron, but as they say, that is another show.
Yeah, and I got binoculars this month as well.
Seriously?
Well, no, this summer.
Yes.
And that is going to be another show, but at the military show.
Are we going to do an entire show on binoculars?
I don't think so. That would be too nearsighted.
Oh.
No.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine.
Or would it be a little long-reaching? Is that
trying too hard?
I'm trying too hard.
You're trying too hard.
Optics.
Shutter speed. Anyway, so I've been watching a lot of Review Bra.
Okay.
Yeah, the report of the week. Now, there's something that I don't believe you know about the report of the week, which is I think you actually introduced me to him years ago.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I think years ago you said, "Hey, check this out. This guy reviews fast food in a suit."
Oh yeah, and it totally seemed ironic at the time.
Yeah, and we never watched more.
Yeah,
of him.
I thought he was going to be
a flash in the pan,
pretending that he was going to, be
doing
reviewing it as like a.
Little did you know, many years later, he is still doing this.
Still doing it.
Yes,
and he has a lot of subscribers. What's his?
He actually just hit 1 million very recently.
That is insane.
He did a gold play button unboxing.
Brilliant.
But the thing about Review Bra, we found him recently when we watched his 1, 2, 3 McDonald's dollar menu review.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how I stumbled across that, but I watched that and I'm like, oh, I need to share this with Daryl. Here, sit down and watch this. And then we immediately went out to McDonald's and got the meal.
You have to experience it.
You do have to experience the Review Bra order. But the reason I bring up Review Bra is I've been watching his other content. I've been watching his radio shows.
He has a radio show.
Yes, he does. It's called VORW. The Voice of the Report of the Week.
Okay.
He does this seemingly, I assume it's an hour-long broadcast, but on the accounts that I found, like the uploads I found, they're multiple hours long.
Okay.
But he keeps talking about it as if they're only hour long on the actual radio. And he broadcasts this show to large portions of the world.
Wow.
Every week. He has a weekly show. He is a radio personality.
How does one actually broadcast without like a regular radio station?
So this is actually something I was going to talk about today, and I'm going to make this challenge. If and when we hit 10,000 subscribers,
okay,
we'll pick this up as a radio show.
We will broadcast
the Kreeger cast.
Yeah,
legitimately
on the waves,
on the airwaves.
So are you renting space or renting time from a regular radio station?
There's a bunch of radio stations around the world that rent airtime, and it's incredibly reasonable. Like just going off of what little we all know about the radio industry. What do you think an hour of airtime goes for?
Haven't any idea.
Like between having a crew run it and the megawatts of power that it takes and all that jazz.
$1,000. So
it's between $60 and $120.
Wow.
And in fact, Review Bra constantly complains about, $110. They're gouging you for that airtime.
Yeah. And this is for a, what size broadcast?
So for $120, you can hit like all of the American continents.
Wow. Like
from Alaska to Terra del Fuego.
Okay.
For like $500 or $600, you can broadcast to the entire world. It's actually rather remarkable. And when you think about it, these broadcast towers that spread the radio waves are only consuming like 300 watts or 300 kilowatts. Okay. They're not like multi-megawatt, transmitters. And so they can spread this message rather far for rather inexpensively. And a lot of them are not manned anymore. You know, you send them a file, and then that gets played. Dear listener, if you can hear a weird creaking sound in the background, that is one very happy turtle.
Okay.
That's what that sound is. I gave him a leaf earlier today, and he's munching on that leaf.
That's his one leaf for this week.
No, it's his daily leaf.
Oh, okay.
In fact, when my dad feeds him, he always says, "Give us today our daily leaf."
That's great.
An important thing, by the way, is to feed your leaf-eating animals romaine lettuce so they get a little bit more nutrition than iceberg.
You should feed humans romaine lettuce. It is the one true lettuce.
Ooh, no. I do like my iceberg.
Yeah?
So anyway.
It's just water. It's green water.
That's actually not true. There is nutrition in iceberg. And actually, supposedly, the best is to have a mixture of romaine and iceberg, so you get both. Anyway, I want to wrap up what I was saying about the report of the week, which is listen to his radio broadcast. It's actually really interesting.
What does he talk about?
So he talks about all sorts of things. Like, did you know Review Bra, our near and dear Review Bra, loves NASCAR?
Really?
Yes. He goes once a year to watch the NASCAR races.
Okay.
And he talks about them. Did you know he rides the rails, as it were?
Really?
Yes. He travels most of his time by train if he can.
Okay.
Which I think is interesting.
Pretentious opinions, is that a superior way to travel?
Train?
If you can afford anything.
No. The superior way to travel is with a driver.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a driver, is a train better?
If you're not... Okay, let me rephrase that. Because if you're... Obviously, you want the mobility that a car gives if you're just wandering the countryside. But if you know that you want to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible. Or maybe not even as quickly as possible, but as luxuriously as possible. As comfortably as possible.
Well, as comfortably as possible would probably, frankly, be an RV. I mean, that's the way...
I think it really depends on where you are.
I also think it depends on the train, because I'm thinking, like, 19th century steam engine with, like, cabins.
Yeah, and Amtrak
which is not what Amtrak is. Yeah.
But there are some nice trains in different parts of the world.
Well, and there's nice trains in the United States. Review Bra reviews them.
Yeah.
And talks about the types of trains you can get. And it's actually kind of shocking. It's also shocking how expensive trains are and how long they take.
Yeah, it really depends on the area, too. Because a lot of Amtrak routes are super cheap.
But again, that's why money notwithstanding.
Yeah.
I don't think... I mean, I wouldn't even include Amtrak, like, in that realm. I'm thinking, like...
So, yeah, I don't know if train is the most pretentious. I mean, when we're in Dublin, we...
Take carriage.
We take a horse carriage. So that is
which
the
is
ultimate...
the way to travel.
Yeah, that's the pretentious thing. And really, the horse carriage speed is the speed at which to view a city.
I think you're actually very right about that. I've been, not to derail this conversation.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
I've been watching some of my own content. As they say, getting high on your own supply.
That's so meta.
I've been watching Dashboard USA.
Oh, wow.
And I've been noticing that even my real-time videos move a little too fast at points. Like, it's really weird.
They are so fast most of the time, though. It's so unsettling. It's like you want to scream as you're hurtled at 500 miles an hour across the countryside. Yeah.
Dear listener, I actually did the calculations, and it's about 720 miles per hour when I'm on the highway.
That is insane. It's... But you can't look away either.
No, it is bemusing, as it were. But, I just was noticing that, like, you know, part of one of the reasons why I was filming real time is so you can take a cruise down Main Street and, like, look around Main Street. Even going, like, 12, 13 miles an hour, there's not enough time to, like, look.
So you really should experience a horse carriage. And most people, I mean, they're you know, touristy things, and when we go, we know one of the horse carriage drivers, so we go in
Have a guy.
period dress and or touring the Georgian buildings.
The tip is that you have to find one and become friends with them, and then send them Christmas cards every year, because that's the Irish method of acquaintance communication.
Well, that's kind of cool, actually.
So I have his cell phone number, and whenever I need to go somewhere, I'm just like, hey.
You know what's actually interesting about that? I have a similar connection with a cabbie in Budapest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
To give us your guy, we'll give you our guy.
You did one of the Danube cruises, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Oh, it was amazing.
Oh, good.
It was literally the best cruise I've ever been on.
Where did you go to and from?
We started off in Budapest, and then we went to Vienna. Yeah.
Just that?
Yeah, just that route.
Wow, that's a quick route.
It took like 8 days.
8 days?
Yeah. We stopped all the time.
Oh, okay.
The boat was barely moving.
Okay.
So we went to Passau, we went to Regensburg, we went to Nuremberg.
So it was, okay. So you went from Austria-Hungary to Germany.
Yeah, so I guess we didn't stop. We stopped in Vienna. We didn't stop in Vienna, if that makes any sense. I'm actually trying to think where we left off. It might have been Nuremberg, maybe. We got to see the Nuremberg War Crimes Trial place. We got to see the Zeppelin fields.
Was it one of the like mainstream companies? Was it like
Viking?
Oh, okay.
And they did really well. We got to see the boat crash.
The boat crash? What happened?
So there was flooding when we were there. And
struck an iceberg.
No, we struck a bridge. And,
oh my god.
That's worse than an iceberg.
Yeah, I actually think I have video of this somewhere where they were trying to figure out if the boat could fit underneath the bridge with this
Spoiler, it couldn't.
Spoiler alert, it couldn't. But it was so barely couldn't.
Yeah.
That nothing happened to the bridge or the boat. It scraped a little bit of the paint.
A little bit of an inch off.
No, it couldn't move. We kind of got stuck and had to back out and wait another like half hour, and we were able to go.
Okay.
Because the level of the river was dropping.
Yeah.
But it was gorgeous. We went there during the Christmas season. Got to stop at all the Christmas markets.
Christmas.
Yeah, it was gorgeous, and I actually think that's a whole nother show into itself.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Austria-Hungary in itself has to be the thing.
Yeah, the Christmas markets. Got to see a camel.
I know. What a great story.
So, back to trains.
Back to trains. Back on the rails, as it were.
So, my father used to work for a power company and steel mills and whatnot. And I don't know at which point in his life this was, but at one point, one of, like, the co-leaders of like another power plant or something like that. What he liked to do was he had his own personal rail car, like his own personal rail car that it was done up like a little cabin.
Okay.
And he would have it stored somewhere nearby. He would get into it, have it hooked up to a train, and they would just drop him in some part of the country off on a spur in the middle of nowhere, and he would spend like a week out there. He mostly did this in Alaska,
Wow.
you know, and like would go out hunting and stuff like that. And then like a week later, the train would come by and pick him back up, and he would go.
That's brilliant.
I mean, it's like, you know, people talk about their RVs and their campers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How many people have their own personal rail car?
Really rich people.
Well,
That's
yeah.
Very, very wealthy people.
This is, I think, the same
people
guy.
like you, Patrick.
No. I could probably afford a caboose that doesn't work anymore, but that's about it.
Gee.
I think a lot of people can afford those cabooses that don't work anymore. Those are going for pretty cheap now, aren't they?
They were going for really cheap, and some of them are still cheap. You can pick one up, provided you can move it, for somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000.
Yeah. So that could be, instead of getting an RV, if you're just dead set on that one place, get a caboose.
Indeed. Cabooses are kind of cool, though.
Though then, I think the other crux in that plan is getting a train to personally, pull it, drop you off on a convenient spur.
Yeah.
And then
that
pick
you're
you
not
up at
blocking.
and then pick you up at an appointed time. That is impressive.
Yeah, but this was back in like the 70s or the 80s, back when more fun stuff was happening in terms of freedom and whatnot.
God, that is so depressing.
I know.
Well, I mean, this was like the era of houseboats and private planes and
Planes?
planes. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the 1970s.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk about that.
Oh, I knew he was talking about. I thought that's what he said. That's so sad.
Yeah. Because it was so
kidding.
recent when like these things were a little more accessible.
I'm kidding. I'm just always talking about the 19th century.
I was actually thinking of that when you were talking about like the 05 and 02 and stuff like that. I'm like,
oh yeah, no, 19, not 18.
No,
no. I know you thought 20, but no.
Yeah. Well, I knew what you were talking about, but it was still
vintage 2005 yoga pants.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Vintage
that will probably be a
2005
thing.
driving coat.
Yep.
That will probably be a thing.
Maybe.
People are going to be doing reenactments and being like, no, they have to be viscose. Or it doesn't create the right silhouette.
Yep.
It's actually
those Spanx aren't period.
It's it's actually interesting.
We're laughing, but it's true.
Yeah,
so depressing.
I was gonna say, like, I was trying to think if there'd be reenactors of this era, but of course there will be.
Well, there already are reenactors that do Global War on Terror. Not even the Iraq invasion; they do Global War on Terror reenacting, which is an interesting line.
Well, it's actually really interesting how much the military has changed in like the last 10 years to the point where, you know, a soldier from 10 years ago does look different.
Oh yeah,
their kit and whatnot.
Yeah, all the old equipment is now being worn by reenactors and, you know, Ukrainians.
So, it's interesting. The Ukrainians have now come up twice in the last 2 podcasts.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Poor Ukraine. Anyway. We don't get political on this podcast.
It's 1850s politics. I can talk about it.
So, what was the other topic that I wanted to bring up with you? So, I wanted to talk tea, I wanted to talk review bra. There was a third topic.
We still have a lot to talk about with tea.
Yeah, in fact, I finally did get a hold of some of that poor tea from Pete's.
And we have it here to try.
Indeed, we have it here to try. So, tell me, does it taste like dirt?
It's exactly as I explained it to people. Very earthy, very deep. What other words would you describe this tea with?
Specifically, the thing that sticks out to me is the mouthfeel.
Yeah.
It's completely different than any other tea.
Yeah.
It feels almost like it has gelatin in it.
It's an experience. I don't think it would be my regular drinking tea.
No.
Oh.
But I could see how this...
It tastes nutty.
Yeah. I do actually enjoy this tea very much. I drink it regularly when I have it. I particularly like it iced. Not as an ice, but like in the refrigerator cold.
It almost, for a tea that is fermented, it isn't as full-bodied as I was expecting it to be. But most of the notes, I think, come through when you're breathing afterwards, which I think is something that people don't pick up on about tea. It's not even necessarily the flavor. It's like if you breathe out through your nose and kind of taste the air in your mouth, that's very, very flavorful, more so than I think you would find with another tea, but it's definitely an aftertaste thing. Like it's like eating almonds.
Yeah. It's a very calm and mellow flavor. I enjoy it dramatically.
Yeah.
Do you $300 a pound enjoy it?
No, that's not the right. Well, maybe. How much does that weigh?
This is 4 ounces.
Okay, I bought it for $22.
Okay.
Pours can be really expensive. Do you want to talk about that
We can talk about whatever. This is Kreeger Cast.
This is Kreeger Cast.
Uncaged. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, $80 a pound.
Yeah.
Pu'er tea, and it's for the process that it goes through. That's pretty affordable.
Yeah,
but it is an experience. I enjoy it.
I'm glad I had it.
Yeah, I'm glad I had it since I have to explain tea quite a bit. But it wouldn't be my top choice.
It's actually my top choice for drinking tea. Then second would be that Earl Grey.
You're a tea hipster.
Oh, so we'll see if you guys listen to the podcast. What did I get wrong about my Lady Grey that I like so much from Fortnum and Mason's?
You thought it was made with lemon. Oh no, you thought it was.
No, we
only one
corrected
that
that
has
at the
tea?
time.
Yeah, we corrected that at the time.
So what was...
But there was an update that I put at the beginning of one of the other podcasts.
I missed it.
Yeah,
What
apparently
was, what was the update?
The update was they don't call it Lady Grey, they call it Countess Grey.
Who?
Fortnum and Mason's.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I want to say that's what it's called generically in England. But I don't know if I want to go out on that limb.
Yeah, I wouldn't go out on that limb.
But definitely at Fortnum and Mason's, it's Countess Grey. And,
Weird.
yeah.
Because the English aristocratic system doesn't use count and countess. They use...
No, there's Countess.
What's the one that they don't use? I thought it was count and countess. They use earl instead of count.
Yeah, it's Earl, but the wife of an Earl, since there's
It's still a countess.
Yeah, it's Countess.
Okay.
Yeah, and I should have picked up on that because the House of Lords invite was from a countess.
Oh yes, my House of Lords invite. Quite.
And she was joking that her husband always, since the royal title doesn't go to him, since, he's just the husband of a countess, he kept calling himself the Count Less.
Ah.
Anyway.
The more I drink this, the more I like it, but it's almost like an autumnal feeling tea. Just because of the nuttiness. It's like a harvest tea.
That's a fancy $4 word.
Yeah.
Care to elucidate?
No, it tastes very... It
like
falls into the pumpkin spice...
Okay.
That whole flavor category with its nuttiness. It tastes very harvesty.
A variation of the word autumn.
Yes.
What did I say?
Autumnal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd never heard that word
That's
before.
a $20
really?
word.
$4 word, thank you very much. It does make sense.
25-cent word?
I just hadn't expected it.
Okay.
3 or 4 bits.
Well, $4 word is a phrase.
I know.
So you're just accounting for inflation?
I am.
The original what's the original phrase? How early do we have that? What's the etymology on that?
I don't
Because
know.
I heard it referred to. It's in Anne of Green Gables as 25-cent word.
Oh.
So what's? Yeah.
I
Does it
wonder
keep getting
if-
updated for
have-
inflation?
Have people always been putting monetary amounts to new words they hear?
Well, give me your 2 cents on it.
Wow. Wow. Sorry, I was just gramming.
Oh,
Gramming
yes.
your mug.
Yes.
Yes.
Mug.
Mug?
Mug.
have you been Kreeger's mugging lately? Because I've been commenting.
Yes. So, dear listener, just as an aside, by the way, I figured out where I picked up dear listener from.
Yeah.
It's from the report of the week.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Anyway, dear listener, for those of you who don't know, I have an Instagram account for my mug. It's called Kreeger's Mug.
And it only knows like 7 words?
Yeah, so...
The mug speaks.
Yes, the mug speaks,
the mug speaks.
and you can speak to it. I will go up to, go through my old photos or find a photo, and, if there's a mug in it, I'll be like, mug, and then tag Kreeger's mug. Or if there's like a bowl, I'll put mug?
Question mark?
And Kreeger's mug will tell me whether or not that is indeed a mug.
Yes. So there's a bit of Kreeger's mug lore here. Kreeger's mug can say whatever the hell it wants in its own descriptions, but once it goes outside of its own descriptions, it results in only saying mug, sometimes Kreeger, and sometimes not.
Yeah.
That's about it. And then various punctuations.
Yes.
So
mug?
Where this started was I got a rather fake but clearly handwritten comment on one of my photos. Like, it wasn't just like, nice photo, man. it was like someone was actually trying to talk about the photo.
Yeah.
But it was like clearly like, dude, you like this, I like this. We should like look at each other's Instagrams. And I'm like, okay. So I went through the guy's entire Instagram. He only had like 40 photos. And I went through his entire Instagram, and in 2 of his photos he had one photo was like a photo of a mug, and then another photo was him holding a beer stein.
Mug.
So I commented on the mug photo, mug. And then I went to the beer stein photo and commented, mug, question mark.
Mug? I have a lot of those on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Where you're like, mug?
And so he responded.
Yeah.
He responded, yes, mug.
It's like an early AI just learning. It's just become sentient, the mug.
Yeah. And so, clearly this guy, like, was he was playing along. I'm like, does this guy think it's a bit? Wait, this should be a bit.
Yeah.
And so one of your photos that you recently posted was a ton of mugs.
Yeah. It was a stack of my new line of Crimean War.
I did it on that one too, but
yeah.
I'm specifically thinking of your Starbucks mugs. That was the first one.
There was a whole group of mugs. Mug.
And so, yeah, as separate comments.
Yeah, not even all in one.
Yeah.
Mug. And so I'm getting a notification every 20 seconds or so. Mug. Some with exclamation points, some with periods.
Yeah.
There must have been a
there,
lore.
There is a lore reason.
Lore reasoning to that too.
So mug, all caps exclamation point, is when the mug sees itself in other people's mugs.
I have some of those.
Yes, you do.
Mug!
Yeah. Mug exclamation point. It's really happy that it sees itself. And then
wow.
And when it sees its ancestors.
Yes, so we haven't even gotten into the mug expanded universe.
Wait.
So the concept behind the mug expanded universe was I've been carrying mugs to cool locations since high school.
And you bring your own mug to every restaurant and
sometimes
everything.
Depends. And so I had this back catalog of photos that were basically taken for me of all these different mugs throughout the years.
Yeah.
And I realized, drat, these would be like, I want to share these. So how do I share them on this mug account that's clearly about this one mug?
Yeah.
The answer is the mug expanded universe.
Okay.
So
it has a mother.
It has a mother, a father, a grandfather, and a girlfriend.
How does it express that? Mug? Does it know?
So that's one of the things that's currently being hashed out by the writing team.
Do you have meetings?
We have meetings. So clearly grandfather mug is the first mug.
Okay.
The first mug I carried was a Starbucks made in Japan mug that's really special because it was made just before the tsunami and earthquake that destroyed the factory. So It's like one of the last ones from that factory.
And what happened to Grandpapa?
The glaze started cracking.
Okay.
From
the radiation.
From the radiation, no. It was just, sadly, shoddy Japanese quality.
Old. And was he retired?
He was retired.
Did he die in the war?
Grandfather Mug had to retire.
Okay.
So he was pushed out of service, and he was replaced with what I'm referring to as Father Mug.
Okay.
Father Mug was a Polish pottery mug. My first Polish pottery mug that I got in a Christmas market in Vienna.
Okay.
Part of that
that
cruise. And I traveled with that mug for years. I want to say like 4 or 5 years.
I have a lot of pictures of it.
Yeah, I carried it to the top of the Eiffel Tower. It's been in submarines. It's flown across the Atlantic multiple times.
Is this Papa Mug?
No. Oh, yes, this is Father Mug. This is Papa Mug.
Yeah.
And so
it's been on movie sets.
It's been on movie sets. One of the jokes, though, is, or the reason that mug got retired is twofold. One, I started caring about it too much, and it's been dropped a few times.
Yeah.
And as a testament to Polish pottery, it bounced every time it got dropped, but that was 2 times too many, so I decided, this is my first Polish pottery mug, maybe it should retire. The other reason is it's 15 ounces. You can't order 15-ounce beverages. Everything is 16 ounces.
Oh, okay.
So every time I would take it to a coffee shop, I would ask for medium coffee, and they would end up with extra and not know what to do with it. Or if I would order, smaller one, it would not fill the mug at all. So I decided then and there that I need to replace it. I want to replace it with another Polish pottery mug, and I wanted to replace it with something that's bigger than 16 ounces but not ridiculously large. And that's when I found the perfect model of mug from my favorite factory in Poland, Ceramika Artyzna. And I'm sure that I'm mispronouncing that horrendously. But they produce a 17-ounce mug. So you can fit a 16-ounce latte in it with a little bit of room for foam. Literally perfect. I've never had anyone have an issue with it. It's Polish pottery, so it's incredibly strong.
And this is Kreeger's mug? Or yeah, this is Mother?
This is Kreeger's mug.
Okay, then who is Mother?
So, who is Mother? Mother is my first piece of useful Polish pottery.
Okay.
Which is...
the teapot?
Which is the teapot.
Okay.
So that's kind of the joke, is that the Mother is a teapot.
I swear I have pictures of Mother.
Of the teapot? Or...
Yeah, on Instagram.
Are you talking about the other...
Oh, that's not Mother.
The other mug?
No.
Oh, okay. You have a picture of the teapot.
Yeah.
That's possible. I don't really use that teapot anymore now that it means as much to me as it does. I don't want it breaking.
Well, it's Mother.
It's the Mother mug. Got that in Alaska in Skagway.
Skagway. Skagway. Got a lot to say about Skagway.
Oh. There's a Russian shop there, and I picked it up there. And so I bought a second mug with the intent of this is the mug that I take with me with friends so they don't feel out of place when I have my own mug.
Okay.
So it's identical to Kreeger's.
Like awkward cousin mug?
No, that's the girlfriend mug.
Wow.
Oh.
So it's identical to Kreeger's mug. It's the same model.
So they're siblings.
No, it's the same. It's the same model, but a completely different paint job.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It's got butterflies on it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so that's girlfriend mug.
Okay.
And I have photos of that all throughout England. That's the mug I carried with me to the House of Lords. That's the mug that was with me when I met the Queen. Well, not met, but saw the Queen. So that's girlfriend mug.
So that is mug lore.
Yeah, and there's the possibility of baby mug.
Really?
There's the possibility of my baby mug, which will be the mug to replace Kreeger's mug.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that if and when that happens.
Right. Will baby mug replace Kreeger's mug on Kreeger's mug?
Yeah.
It'll become
Kreeger's mug.
It'll become Kreeger's
mug.
And
then you'll move down all the generations.
Yeah.
Great grandfather mug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's mug lore.
I'm glad it's that intricate though.
Yeah.
Somebody cares.
Somebody does care. And what's interesting is a lot of people don't.
I know.
When I get the comments on my Instagram, like great photo,
yeah.
I love coffee, heart.
Yeah.
I'll go onto their page. I will find a photo of them with a coffee mug, and I will comment mug.
Yeah. But you know what? As semi-ironic Instagram accounts go, it's great.
Yeah, it doesn't follow anyone.
No.
Specifically, it doesn't follow anyone.
Zero followers? Zero
following. But it's got 44 followers.
Wow.
Roughly. Which is
44 people.
Yeah, it's not bad for being like a joke account that's literally a coffee mug.
Semi-ironic, Patrick.
Well,
we're all deep into the lore.
So, the mug lore.
So go follow Kreeger's mug.
Yes, it would appreciate the follow. The whole point, though,
make sure that you have a picture of a mug in there, so it can go mug.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But the point of Kreeger's mug was just because I like taking photos of my coffee cup in interesting locations.
Yeah,
and it's an excuse for you to be a hipster.
It is.
No, I think it's actually really cool when you have, if you're at a location, you're alone, or you don't want to be taking
Photos of
a photo there.
Yeah.
You know, if you're at this scenic location, you put your mug down on the rock and take a picture of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so then it's a photo that has a bit of personalization, but it's still of the location.
Exactly. It's not just like close-ups of the mug, though sometimes I do that.
And we talk about that with the different ways we take pictures.
Artistic mode activated.
Because I have more of like a stylistic focus, and yours always tell a story, though.
Yeah.
Like you'll remember more of that day with the way that you frame your pictures.
The way it was explained to me by my photography professor was, what the type of photography you do is art. What I do is record keeping. He would also call it tourist shots. He says if you're shooting for it, it's record keeping. If you're just a bad photographer, it's a tourist shot.
Okay.
So yeah, I just didn't want to bombard my friends' news feeds with photos of my mug, because
that was nice of you.
When I take a photo of the mug, current day,
yeah,
it gets uploaded immediately. So if I go to 4 or 5 interesting locations or whatever, that's 4 or 5 photos in your news feed. Which a lot of people don't necessarily want that. So that's why,
Patrick.
Yes, and that's why it's on its own separate account.
And that's why I follow.
Yes. And Stephanie, you found it first. I didn't tell anyone about this. I just started doing it.
I thought that, no, because remember, he brought Kreeger's mug to that place I hate that you like to go to. with all the hipster coffee shops off the freeway.
All the hipster coffee shops.
Well, there's the one.
Oh, the Lab.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't like the She Shop?
No, not... Is it the Lab?
So it's called the SoCo or the Mix.
Yes.
The OC Mix.
The OC Mix.
So it's inside SoCo is the OC Mix. Inside the OC Mix is a place called Portola Coffee Lab. So I refer to the whole facility as the Lab. Shop. There is a cheese shop, and how dare you don't love that cheese shop.
The whole complex is really weird and dystopian to me.
It's worth it for the cheese shop, though.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually recommended
that sandwich.
The man I had the dinner with the other night, I recommended he go there and get that sandwich.
Yeah. Well, it was really nice bread with brie. So
it's a type. It's not a brie, but it's like a brie.
Okay.
So I don't know what exactly makes a brie versus this thing, but it's called DAF. D''AFF cheese. And it's like a triple or quadruple creme, for lack of a better term, brie. And it's on just
Sounds like a 21st century child name.
I always call it DeGaff, which is really weird because like people say that to them all the time, even though there's not a G anywhere in the phrase. Because it's like Daffanoise or something like that, like the full length of the cheese name. Like, I'm totally butchering this French word, but it doesn't matter. It's a cheese from France, and it's fantastic. It's literally the best brie-style cheese you will ever have in your entire life. They put that on what amounts to like a very crusty, what do you call it, type of bread? That type of bread. What I'm searching
French bread?
What's the word I'm looking for?
Ciabatta?
Not ciabatta.
That's closer. And by the way, that was an Appaloosa reference. You're welcome, Chris.
All right. Okay, so we got a crusty bread.
Crusty bread.
We got Dauphinois cheese.
Dauphinois cheese. We got those Spanish almonds.
Oh yeah, the almonds.
The Spanish almonds.
Okay.
They're like, particularly the Spanish almonds. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then French wildflower honey. And then it's toasted as a panini, and it's literally the best thing ever for a cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
How have you not had this? I'm literally offended, Stephanie.
So offended.
Because I don't like sandwiches, and I don't like
Whoa.
going to that place.
Whoa. Okay.
Wow.
Side note, though, this is the first... I like trying tea without sugar just to see what the notes are.
Yes.
But I think this might be the first tea I've genuinely not even remotely wanted sugar in.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
not
this would
any
be
sugar.
awful with sugar.
I know it would. Yeah, it'd be gross.
I think it'd be great.
Oh, okay. Well, there's sugar next to you, my friend.
Nope.
Okay. Anyway. So, as Daryl was looking around, he noticed a little something.
Yeah, what is the nail with the 42 on it?
So, here's the dealio with that. Railroad ties.
Okay.
Every now and then need to be replaced.
Yeah.
When they put in a section of these railroad ties, every now and then they put in a date nail to know when they put them in.
Wow.
So that nail
I want date nails.
Was put in 1942.
That's crazy.
You can get them for all sorts of years. They still do it.
Huh.
So, like, you could theoretically get, like, an O something or other.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do 3 digits now to, like, separate from 1900s.
18 versus 19 versus...
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a big honking nail with the number 42 on it. And I picked it up for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
My dad got it in 1939. We picked this up, not in Sedona, Arizona, but a little mining town outside of it. I found an antique shop, and I picked up this. My dad picked up another nail. I got like a little ironwood pecuary, stuff like that. Yeah. So,
do you have a lot of antique nails?
Yes, I have 2.
Well, we both have a collection of World War II Swiss horseshoe nails.
Okay, so I guess I have 3 important nails.
Yeah.
I have World War II Swiss horseshoe nails, all for the want of a horseshoe nail.
Yep.
I have this particular nail, the date nail, and then I have a hand-hammered nail that I found out in the desert. Like, one of the square ones.
Yeah, I have a collection of those from our the blacksmith at our reenactment. I use it to hang up a lot of the posters and the Declaration of Independence and stuff like that.
Although fantastic for that.
Yeah.
But mine's original.
I know.
I found it in a fire pit out in the desert where someone was clearly burning, like, old wood.
Yeah.
Recently. Like, that's the part that was sad, is it was like a fresh fire pit where someone was hauling out old wood from some mines. Like 1800s wood. To just burn. It was pointlessly sad.
So speaking of antiques,
Antietam.
How do you feel about using cigarette cases as your wallet?
Ooh, they're slightly too small.
Yeah, yeah. I started using this one that is seems super modern just because of the finish on it.
Yeah.
And I really wanted the World War I ones that were made for German soldiers using the spent shell casings.
Just so to inform people, Belgium, because they were kind of caught in the middle of everything, and they couldn't really export things, a lot of their factories turned to producing souvenirs. And one of the things they loved doing was turning the spent shell casings into souvenirs. And so there's one particular factory that pumped out literally thousands of cigarette cases that are made from shells from Verdun that have the little German seal of Gott mit uns on it. And they sold them to Allied and Axis alike. Well, Central Powers.
Yeah. And their cigarette cases, they're lighters. They're
little planes, all sorts of things.
But anyway, I got one of those cigarette cases to use as a wallet, and just a centimeter.
Oh, not even a centimeter. It's like 2 millimeters.
Yeah, I wish it just was a centimeter bigger.
Well, if it was a centimeter bigger, it would rattle.
So it could fit my credit cards.
So that photo you sent me was how much it missed?
Yeah.
Oh, mine doesn't miss by that much.
Yeah, mine.
So this one's mine, and I just wanted to see how close it fits in general.
Huh.
In terms of how, like, close to the credit card size it is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's literally 2 millimeters.
Off. It's just like, and that begs the question: if I shave off a millimeter or 2 from either side of a credit card, will it still work?
Theoretically, I imagine yes. There's not much information on the credit card. There's your number, your name, your address, and
but the actual swipey bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In that swipey bit is the number of the credit card, your address, your name, the bank's name, and the guarantee number.
But I imagine it would be part of that bar.
Yeah, it's like 8-track compression there. So
yeah, so shaving off a few millimeters will cause it to not work.
Presumably.
Okay.
But what if? I guess you'd have to do that. You wouldn't be able to do it to your debit. But what about your credit? Because that's a lot of places you could only use it with chip.
Yeah, but some places
just shave it off the other end.
Some places require you to still use swipe.
That's so sad.
Have 2 cards.
I so want to use this.
Isn't it so close?
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I used to carry it full of gum.
Yeah. But anyway, I really like the trend of using
cigarette cases
because I I usually use a billfold or a clip.
Yeah, I remember that.
And everything would get ruined.
I always forget that this has some guy's name in it, which is sad.
What's the name?
Let's see here. David Marsh, Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
So yeah,
wow.
That's the cigarette case.
Yeah, I like mine. I like that mine does look hobbled together.
Yeah.
Yours looks professional,
yeah.
Like from the photos you sent me. But mine's like slightly off. It doesn't quite fit. It's clearly just cut brass.
Yeah.
It looks like the steel is off of a belt buckle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just a millimeter too small.
It was like $17.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You made me get this.
I did.
Yeah. You're like, you need this.
Is it the Militaria show?
Yeah.
There's so many things there.
Can't wait to talk about the Militaria show. Do you want, Stephanie, are you going to be part of that show?
Well,
sure.
You did get dragged to it in real life, so.
I did.
Might as
I
well.
almost bought something.
Might as well.
Okay, so
Remember
you'll
the
be...
little flag?
Oh, yeah.
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 So we'll talk about that in another episode.
Have we talked about Frasier yet?
We've not done a Frasier episode.
No, I mean, have you done your customary Frasier reference?
I've sadly been missing out on that. I've been making other references throughout this episode.
No one likes reference humor.
I hate reference humor.
Which is in itself a reference.
Yeah, to a show that did get 6 seasons, but no movie, and it did kind of fall apart after the year of the gas leak.
Yeah.
So,
oh, well. You're so self-referential on this.
I understand that reference humor is like the lowest sense of humor. Thing I know, you know,
yeah.
Like it's not any deeper than that. It's like, I remember. But I like slightly deeper reference humor where it does fit in the location. Like,
yeah.
It's almost like a pun.
But
almost.
You know,
reference humor is... It's actually not unintelligent because it's illusion in a way. It's like, I'm pretentious enough to have actually read and or seen this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's drawing parallels, especially if it's a clever parallel.
Yeah.
And I mean, it does depend, because like in literature, that's what it's called, right? An illusion.
Okay. I actually hadn't looked at it that way. It's just that the internet has the tendency of really making fun of reference humor, saying that it's stupid and doesn't make any sense.
Well, those people didn't pass English class, so...
Indeed.
Illusion is very important. I'm actually rereading Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
And within the first 10 pages, there's like at least 15 allusions to different like
well,
Greek
cool.
things or the Bible or whatever.
So I actually want to segue.
You want a segue?
No. Although it is still ironic to me that that man drove one off a cliff.
Yeah.
The inventor of the Segway drove one off a cliff.
Oops.
No, on purpose. But anyway.
Are you sure?
Yes. So one of the things that we're going to be doing as a channel, actually, is something that I came up with. Steven did it as a joke. In our podcast together, I described to him a meme. He then, explained what I was missing out about the meme We both laughed. And then he joked, "Oh, that would make a great podcast, just people reading memes." And then I realized it may not make a great podcast, but it would be something fun. So at least Daryl and I are going to be doing a podcast where we talk about historic memes and explaining the references behind them, right?
Indeed.
But then I also want to do a series of podcasts, possibly one a month, where we just literally verbally describe memes.
That sounds riveting.
Yes, but I do think I have a legitimately good reason to do it.
Okay.
The reason I want to do this is, frankly, to help blind people. So you don't have to tune into those if you don't want to, but once a month I'm going to be putting out a podcast specifically to read memes to blind people. I just saw the look you gave me. It's just
a very specific
niche audience.
No, not even about the audience. I feel like it's a reason that came after that. I want to make
Memes
podcast.
You are right.
And then and also blind people.
You're not wrong exactly. But what happened was, after I realized how smoothly it went, my description with Steven, I think I did a really good job at describing the meme.
Yeah.
I do remember interacting with a couple blind people that specifically brought up the fact that they don't like that they have to, they can't be as part of meme culture as others.
Interesting.
So I want to do specific meme topics. I'm gonna have a friend over where we're just gonna go through dog memes. And I'm also kind of considering doing maybe a section at the beginning and end, or beginning or end of these podcasts, doing latest memes. So
well, it makes sense, and a lot of people will initially go, "Damn it, Patrick!"
Yeah, which is an initial
think that
reaction.
It's a crazy idea, but it is essentially cueing people in that aren't in on the joke.
Yeah.
Whether that's because you don't get the reference or you can't see the meme, you want to cue people in.
Yeah, and so just kind of as a thing, I have a spur of a moment question for y'all. What is the oldest meme you can think of?
One of those cows on a cave painting.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Okay, but something that was relevant for most of human history.
The snails in the sides of the
marginalia of medieval manuscripts.
Yeah.
The penis rabbits. The penis snails. The flying penises. The penis trees. Yeah. Medieval monks were a interesting group of people.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was thinking specifically things like "the sun never sets on the British Empire."
Is that a meme?
Yeah, that phrase is a meme.
Okay.
No, legitimate.
Do you remember when
But I think there are memes in every culture.
Yes, that's the whole point of a meme, is it's something that's spread as part of culture.
I'm sure we could talk about Pompeii memes.
What's the etymology of meme?
I mean, we could. It was invented recently, and it's a memetic device, and it basically means a small bit of culture that is spread, like a virus.
Because do you remember back before memes were memes?
Yeah.
And do you remember when memes were those little quizzes you took to get stupid bits of information?
No, but a stupid bit of information could be a meme.
No. Okay, so, what character are you? What Disney villain are you? Take the meme.
Yeah.
It used to be a name for quizzes. I remember that.
I've never heard that.
It was a MySpace thing, I think.
Huh.
Wow.
MySpace is
that
still
long
relevant.
Ago.
Bringing it back.
No, MySpace is still relevant. I actually saw someone advertising, "Come visit our site on MySpace."
Wow.
2 days ago.
Is it they're ironic?
No, MySpace is still relevant in the music industry.
Okay.
It's literally how bands network.
That is insane.
Well, hi.
I don't
It
know.
never went out of business. It's just
it's
still doing its thing.
Wow.
I can't wait for. Well, no, not can't wait. It'll be depressing, but whatever. Digital archaeology.
Yeah.
Digging back into the random.
Well, people already do that.
that people never bothered to take down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Internet Historian's a big deal.
So that's actually something I'm doing with Dashboard USA, is just creating an archive of what it was like to drive in the U.S.
Yeah, because imagine, even think about the looking at the scenery, the cars, the people. That's what we do as historians, looking at photographs.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to actually have a video of
Hours
driving
upon
through
hours.
this, driving through this city, albeit not at 700 miles an hour.
It's gonna be like those videos that's like London 1890.
Literally,
Yeah.
that's
Oh
literally
my God,
what this is going to be.
that's so like.
That's the point of Dashboard USA.
Yeah.
Is that I want you 10 years from now to be able to take a cruise down Main Street, Huntington Beach.
In 2018.
In 2018.
Ooh.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, and that's why I do a combination of time lapse and real time.
And you might not like 2018, but if you're,
If you're
from
in
2100
21,
and super into 2018, then
Yeah, imagine
Dashboard USA is
like-
going to help.
imagine if you were a kid growing up now, and then like didn't even think about
feeling nostalgic.
yeah, and feeling nostalgic, and like, oh, I really wish I could go downtown right now, but like the way it used to be. Well, you can go
Yeah.
to my channel and
Without all
watch
the
that.
Yeah.
frickin' robots.
Well, like it would have been.
And it might shatter some perceptions. They might say, wow, this is exactly like it is now.
That's possible. That's possible. So, yeah, that's something I'm trying to accomplish with Dashboard USA. Today I even did something completely ridiculous. I drove down Main Street and then turned around and drove up Main Street, just for the views.
Yeah, that was
cool. So anyway, I think we're gonna wrap this up.
You're going to put us back on the cage.
Yes, because actually we're going back in the cage because I have something we're going to be talking about in a little bit.
All right.
So until next time, listeners.
Indeed.
As well.
See you out there.
Bye.